Well, hello and welcome to Business 360. I'm Ashmit Kumar, and here are the headlines that we're tracking this evening. The Indian rupee continues to weaken against the US dollar, hitting another record low today. Stock markets end with marginal losses after failing to hold early gains. Prime Minister Modi meets over a dozen economists ahead of the union budget. Niti Aayog officials were also present for the closed-door meeting, which took place after GDP growth in Q2 slowed to a 21-month low. Tata's financial services arm Tata Capital ropes in advisors ahead of the potential IPO in 2025. The decision for listing is in line with the RBI's mandatory requirement for upper-layer NBFCs to list within 3 years of being notified. Sources say that the IPO size is likely to be around 15,000 crore rupees. That's a money control exclusive. China firms up plans for a fiscal stimulus in order to soften the blow of an expected increase in tariffs once Trump takes charge. Reuters reports suggests that Chinese policymakers plan to issue a special treasury bond worth record $411 billion next year. Hospitality startup Oyo completes the acquisition of G6 Hospitality, owned by Blackstone, for $525 million. The deal adds nearly 1,500 franchise hotels across US and Canada to Oyo's portfolio. Dabur moves Delhi High Court against Patanjali, alleges that an advertisement featuring Ramdev claims that only Patanjali's Chyawanprash is original and that other companies lack the expertise. Dabur claims that the advertisement is disparaging and damaging to other companies. High Court agrees to hear the matter but refuses to restrain Patanjali from airing this ad. Vehicle registrations fall by 15% in the first 3 weeks of December. Petrol-powered vehicles and two-wheelers are the worst hit. Electric vehicles add some spark in an otherwise disappointing month. Mercury dips across North India as the Met Department warns of a severe cold wave. A fresh wave of snowfall hit Manali yesterday, leaving around 1,000 vehicles stranded between Solang and the Atal Tunnel. Kashmir's Sonmarg too witnessed heavy snowfall. The Election Commission of India counters allegations by the Congress party over Maharashtra elections, says that the increase in voter turnout between 5 p.m. and 11:45 p.m. is normal. Also adds that a case has been registered over allegations of voter list manipulation. Israel confirms killing Ismail Haniyeh, the chief of Hamas's political bureau in Tehran this July, marks the first public acknowledgement that Tel Aviv was behind the killing. Israel's defense minister warns that military would also decapitate the Houthi leadership, just as it did with the Hamas and Hezbollah top brass. Veteran filmmaker Shyam Benegal, one of the trailblazers of new wave cinema in India, dies at the age of 90. He was suffering from a chronic kidney ailment. Leading film personalities attend the cremation at Mumbai's Shivaji Park. Well, the stock markets failed to hold opening gains in a range-bound session today. Nifty and Sensex ended flat, with the Nifty falling below the 23,800 mark. The broader markets fell in line with the blue chips. Surbi Upadhyay is joining us now with a quick wrap of the day's trading action. Surbi.
Well, it was an extremely flat and range-bound day and along expected lines, considering a lot of global markets were anyway shutting early for the Christmas holiday. So what we have is a range-bound move between about 150 points, the highest and the lowest point on the Nifty today. But what the Nifty did was, once again, it failed to have a close above the 200 DMA, which comes in around the 23,840 level, thereabout, roughly speaking. Nonetheless, it wasn't too bad. I'll come to the movers and shakers in just a bit. In terms of the sectoral spread, there was some buying in consumer and auto that came back today. But then the large pillars of the market, IT as well as banks, they were fairly listless. The Tata Group deserves a special mention because of the story that our colleagues in Money Control put out, that Tata Capital could be looking at a large IPO in early 2025, and that got a lot of the group stocks excited. Let's look at Tata Investments, Tata Motors, Tata Technologies, Tata Chemical. All these stocks were up between 2, 4, 5%, depending on which one you picked up. Coming to the Nifty gainers, Adani Enterprises, Dr. Reddy's, and a lot of consumer names, like I mentioned. You had a good show from Britannia, Trent, ITC, and even BPCL did fairly well with oil prices coming off overnight. The losers tally included a lot of metal names that were shining bright yesterday. So Hindalco, Tata Steel, JSW Steel, these were on the way down. Power Grid also cooled off. And financials like IndusInd Bank, SBI, and even SBI Life, those stocks were on the lower side. Mid-caps had a better day today, and that's something to take heart from. The advanced decline ratio was better, and the index at least didn't go home with any deep gashes. It was flat at best. Today's movers included the likes of Greaves Cotton, which is looking at an IPO for its EV arm. Amber Enterprises, our colleague Sudarshan reporting that Amber could also be looking at hiving off its electronics business. Sagility, Triveni Engineering, RBL Bank, some interesting gains on many of these stocks. And also it was a great day for a lot of the recent listings. So much, shine and flutter around them. International Gemological Institute, Sai Life Sciences, and MobiKwik, double-digit gains for some of these stocks coming through. So fairly exciting day at an individual stock level, but otherwise fairly quiet. We don't have too many cues going into the Christmas holiday. And then the bulls will hope for a final flurry when global markets come back to trade 26th onwards.
Right, Rupee, thanks a lot for that. Now, Sameer Arora of Helios Capital believes that the current bull run in the market is more measured than previous rallies. He's positive on financials and IT stocks in 2025.
I have seen widely out of line markets. For example, in 2004, 5, 6, and 7 calendar years, the market was up 40% per annum. If you look at the 500 index, it was up some 39 point some percent per annum. We have seen periods like 1999, when the market went up some 85% and the NAV of my fund, Alliance Equity Fund, now called Birla Sun Life Equity Fund, in that one calendar year was up 280%. Those are wild bull runs. This is a measured bull run according to me. So our logic is that you will have 2 or 3 main chunks, which mostly the market has converged to financial sector, financial services, private sector banks, and some form of IT, which for 2 years we were bearish up to June of 24, and now we think IT is a good sector. We will not buy the EMS companies because our logic is that we have a benchmark, and those benchmarks of EMS companies trade at 8 multiple and 10 multiple, and in India you can make it 20 because everything is double, but you don't make it 150 multiple.
Well, on to the money market now. The Indian rupee hit yet another record low today. It stood firmly above 85 per dollar amidst dollar buying by oil importers. Month-end US dollar demand is expected to put further pressure on the Indian currency. Bond prices remain largely steady. And China's policymakers plan to sell $411 billion worth of special treasury bonds in 2025. According to a Reuters report, this would be the highest bond issuance on record. The move is in sync with Beijing ramping up fiscal stimulus to boost the slowing economy. The funds raised will be used to support consumption subsidies, business equipment upgrades, as well as investment in key technologies and advanced manufacturing sectors. Now, over a year after Tata Tech's successful IPO, another Tata Group company is eyeing its D-Street debut. Sources tell Money Control that Tata Capital, the group's financial services arm, has initiated work for its IPO and could raise 15,000 crore rupees. The decision to list is in line with RBI's norms for the upper-layer NBFCs. Ashwin Mohan joins us now with more details. Ashwin.
What we are given to understand from our sources is that Tata Capital, the financial services flagship of the Tata Group and the subsidiary of holding company Tata Sons, has in fact initiated work and the process for a big bang mega initial public offer or IPO in 2025. Sources are telling us that this issue could be anywhere in the region of 15,000 crore plus rupees, and these sources are also telling us that it could likely be a combination of both a primary issue of shares and a secondary component. Now, Kotak Mahindra Capital, the investment bank, and law firm Cyril Merchant Mangaldas, these are the 2 advisors that our sources are telling us have been roped in as of now. Other bankers and law firms may also be taken on board at a later stage. Now, if you look at Tata Capital, it had assets under management of around 1,58,000 crores as of March this year, and Tata Sons holds around 92 odd percent in Tata Capital. The remaining stake is held by a few other Tata Group companies and also the trust. Now, the reason why the Tatas are going in for this IPO is because under RBI norms, all NBFCs that are classified in the list of upper layer NBFCs, they have to mandatorily list by September 2025. So that is the regulatory compliance, and hence this process has begun. We are yet to hear from Tata Sons and Tata Capital. Let's keep a watch out for this big deal in the new calendar year.
Well, in a bid to expand its footprint across North America, OYO has completed the acquisition of US-based G6 Hospitality for $525 million. The company operates around 1,500 hotels under brands like Motel 6 and Studio 6 in the US and Canada. OYO expects this deal to generate a gross booking value of $1.7 billion and pump up its EBITDA to 2,000 crore rupees in FY26. Meanwhile, Greaves Electric Mobility, the electric vehicle division of Greaves Cotton, plans to go public. The company has filed for 1,000 crore rupee IPO with SEBI. The IPO will be a combination of a fresh issue of shares and an offer for sale. The proceeds will be used for product research, building battery assembly capabilities, and boost manufacturing capacity. Now, shares of Amber Enterprises surged over 5% in today's trade. This after CNBC-TV18 reported that the company is looking to demerge its electronic division. According to sources, the company might also float an IPO of its electronics segment, for which bankers are already being appointed. The electronics division comprised 20% of Amber Enterprises' total revenue in FY24. Now, vehicle registrations declined by 15% in the first 3 weeks of December. Petrol-powered vehicles and two-wheelers are the worst hit. Electric vehicles add some spark in an otherwise disappointing month. India's telecom regulator has promised new guidelines against pesky calls and that they will be released in a month's time. Speaking to my colleague Abhimanyu Sharma, TRAI chairperson Anil Kumar Lahoti also defended the move to ask telecom service providers to offer a tariff plan without data and only for calls and text messages specifically designed for feature phones.
In our country, there are a large number of subscribers who are not using a smartphone. They have feature phones, and there are some who do not feel comfortable using a smartphone. So they should be able to, have the option of taking a plan which has only voice and SMS. So in order to give the consumer the choice that they can subscribe only to voice and SMS, this tariff order and amendment to the regulation has been issued so that all the service providers provide at least one such tariff voucher.
So what is the status of consultation on satellite communication and also against unsolicited calls? What kind of suggestions have been given? Can you name a few?
For both the satellite communication, we have already completed the process of consultation, that is comments, counter comments and the open house discussion, and we have received a large number of comments from various stakeholders. These are all under examination, and after examining the comments, we will soon come out with our recommendations to the government. In respect of the unsolicited commercial communications, again we have completed the process of consultation, that is the comments, counter comments and the open house discussion, and after this again we have received a large number of comments because of the importance of the subject which are under examination, and we should be able to come out with the amended regulation within a month's time.
So any key comments or any timeline behind that? Anything you can ascribe to that currently?
I think we have received a large number of comments. To pick up a few of them will not, at this stage, will not be fair.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi held consultations with leading economists and other stakeholders ahead of Budget 2025. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman and top officials of the Niti Aayog were present at the meeting. Parishit Luthra joins us now with more details. Parishit, what were the key focus areas for this meeting?
Well, The clear focus in this meeting was the 2047 roadmap. Ever since the Prime Minister took over for his third term, the entire government machinery has been chalking out a 2047 roadmap. And sources tell us that even in this meeting, the Prime Minister and his team was more concerned about a long-term higher growth trajectory than the immediate budget exercise. Though there were consultations about the budget and what measures can be taken to spur growth across sectors, the larger focus was how can we have a larger vision for 2047. So this included a blueprint for the agriculture sector, the MSME sector, manufacturing. There was also a discussion on how India can leverage the current geopolitical landscape and have a bigger play in global value chains and be a bigger exporter to the world as well. Job creation was a big focus area in the budget in July. We had seen an internship scheme, a skilling scheme, and an employment scheme being announced. And clearly there could be further job employment push areas in the budget as well. But here the focus was on how to have sustained job creation across sectors, have more skilled jobs till 2047 as well. So you had the likes of former Executive Director of IMF, Surjit Bhalla, Rhythm Desai of Morgan Stanley, DK Joshi of CRISIL, Ashok Gulati, and agricultural economists, BVR Subramaniam, the CEO of Niti Aayog, Suman Berry, the Vice Chairman of Niti Aayog, the Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister, Nirmala Sitharaman, all top leaders and officials from the government were present in that meeting, which was focused beyond the immediate budget exercise. But at the same time, there are concerns about a growth slowdown, especially in the September quarter, and whether we can come back to a high growth trajectory fast enough. So there were some discussions on that, but the broad discussions on the 2047 Viksit Bharat blueprint.
Indeed, Parikshit, thanks a lot for that inside look at that all-important meeting ahead of the budget 2025. With that, we're slipping into a very short break now, but don't go anywhere. The Election Commission of India counters allegations by the Congress party over Maharashtra elections, says that the increase in voter turnout between 5 p.m. and 11:45 p.m. is normal. More details in just a bit. Welcome back. Now, here's an interesting case. Dabur has moved the Delhi High Court against Patanjali. The company has alleged that an advertisement featuring Baba Ramdev claims that only Patanjali's Chyawanprash is original and that of other companies lack the expertise. In fact, the word that has been cited by Dabur as objectionable is Baba Ramdev saying that it's ordinary. Other Chyawanprash companies making other Chyawanprash. Now, what's important is that these advertisements authorized by Patanjali were run across various broadcast channels, across various publications as well, and that is what has been objected to by Dabur. Dabur makes the claim that these claims being made by Baba Ramdev, by Patanjali, are in fact disparaging, are damaging to other brands, including Dabur. Dabur being one of the heavyweights in this brand, commanding nearly 60% of the market share as far as Chyawanprash is concerned, claiming that this is hugely damaging for the company. Also going on to say that as far as these claims are concerned, this is not something that Baba Ramdev is alien to. This is Dabur basically invoking the case that was going on before the Apex Court, where the Supreme Court had frowned on advertisements authorized by Patanjali Ayurved, where in fact it was claimed by Patanjali Ayurved that they had products that was even going to cure diabetes, even going to cure COVID, and that also had made those advertisements, they had made disparaging comments against allopathic medicine. So all of these aspects being argued before the Delhi High Court, the prayer that essentially Dabur had made, the interim prayer, the interim relief that the company had sought was for a stay on these advertisements being issued, being run by Patanjali. However, Delhi High Court, while it has agreed to hear Dabur's application, has agreed to hear Dabur's plea, it has not agreed to grant a stay as far as Patanjali's ads are concerned. So Patanjali's ad featuring Baba Ramdev are free to air, free to continue as far as broadcasters and publications are concerned. But nonetheless, the Delhi High Court has said that this does merit a hearing, this does warrant a hearing, and that it will sit and decide on the Chyawanprash wars later, and that will be in the month of January of next year. So that's just around the corner, a couple of weeks from now. But that's, of course, action coming in from the Delhi High Court. Let's, with that, shift our focus to the action going on between the Election Commission and the Congress Party. The Election Commission of India has countered allegations that were raised by the Congress Party over Maharashtra elections. In a 66-page response to the charges, the poll body said that increase in voter turnout between 5 p.m. and 11:45 p.m. is normal. Sandhya Gora is joining us now with more details. Sandhya, help us with this EC counterclaim that's being made. Take us through some of these allegations that were made by the Congress and the response that is now coming from the Election Commission.
Right. So the Election Commission of India has responded to the allegations made by the Congress, citing electoral discrepancies during the Maharashtra elections. The ECI has dismissed all these allegations. Here are some of the key allegations and the ECI's responses to them. The most significant allegation raised by the Congress was the inexplicable increase in the voting percentage from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. on polling day. The ECI has clarified that there is no discrepancy whatsoever in the voter turnout rate data. It explained that there is a difference between how the voter turnout rate is recorded in Form 17C and the trend uploaded on the voter turnout rate, that is VTR app. According to the ECI, Form 17C is filled at every polling station by the presiding officer and co-signed by the agents of candidates, and this particular form has the exact VTR. In contrast, the VTR app trend is collected by the sector magistrates through various methods, including physical visits to polling stations, phone calls and messages. The ECI stated that data on the VTR app might suffer from errors in data collection. Additionally, it noted that the 5 p.m. data on the VTR app is interim, as voting can continue past 5 p.m. or even 6 p.m. The ECI has also uploaded a detailed note on its website explaining the voter turnout process to educate citizens. Another key allegation made by the Congress was the addition of voters. The Congress claimed that over 50,000 voters were added across 50 assembly constituencies. The ECI has called this allegation misleading and factually incorrect, stating that over 50,000 voters were added in only 6 assembly constituencies. The increase in the overall number of voters was attributed to the registration of individuals who turned 18 after the Lok Sabha elections, measures taken by the election authorities to maximize voter registration, and increased voter enthusiasm to get themselves enrolled. The Congress also alleged arbitrary deletions from the voter list. In response, the ECI stated that over 8 lakh deletions were made, all following proper verification processes. Regarding the allegation of voter list manipulation using fake Aadhaar cards in Tuljapur, the ECI has said that an FIR has been filed and the matter is under investigation.
Right, Sandhya, thanks a lot for that input. Now, before we end the show, let's talk about a collaborative initiative between GROW and CNBC-TV18. Our mission is to equip you with valuable insights and strategies to navigate the markets and make informed investment decisions. Today, we will help you understand the 1 to 2% rule, which helps protect your capital.
You know, successful trading isn't just about finding the next big opportunity. It's about managing your risk to protect your capital. One of the best ways to do that is the 1 to 2% rule. Risk no more than 1 to 2% of your total capital on any single trade. So if you have 10,000 rupees in your trading account, you'd only risk 100 to 200 rupees on each trade. This limits your potential losses and gives you room to grow. The idea is to preserve your capital over the long run. Live another day to make another trade. By sticking to a small risk per trade, you'll be able to withstand losses without wiping your account. Trading is all about consistency, not chasing quick wins. By focusing on risk management, you'll ensure that you're in it for the long haul. It's a marathon, not a sprint.